Hey everybody, thank you for joining me today. I am Ruchika. For those who don't know me, I'm a health coach and the founder of Nourish Your Life. Nourish Your Life is not only the name of my practice, but it's also really my mantra. That's what I believe in. We can all do simple, small things every day to add nourishment to our lives. If you're watching this, just give me a thumbs up or leave me a comment so I know you're right here. But anyway, I will continue, and if you have any questions, I will take them as we go along. Hopefully, I'll be able to switch between screens. So, what I'm going to share today is really the 5 simple secrets. Should I call it secrets or tips to eat well and make it a sustainable practice in your life? Many of us start on this clean eating journey. It's January. Many of us start on that journey and kind of fall along the way and don't know how to pick it up or just kind of feel like a failure. And what I'm going to share with you is 5 tips which hopefully you can include every day, or at least create an action plan around it so clean eating is sustainable in your life. Let me start with number 1. Number 1 is really knowing your why. Why do you want to eat clean? Why do you want to eat well? Why do you want to eat different? How is it going to impact your life? Do you want to wake up with more energy in the morning? Do you want to feel brighter? Do you want your skin to feel different? Do you want to overcome chronic conditions? Do you want to really have a longer life, feel more healthful, be able to play around with kids, more productive at work? Whatever your why is, write it down. When you know why you're doing what you're doing, it always becomes a lot easier to do it. So that's really step number 1, know your why. The second tip or second secret is really starting small. I was with a client this morning and I was telling her, rather than trying to get on this big grand plan of doing everything, start small. Squeeze in that 15 extra minutes of walk after dinner maybe, or drinking that 1 extra smoothie in a day, or just introducing a smoothie for breakfast, drinking more water, doing 1-minute meditation. How hard can that be? Just start small. It's really these small victories that add up. Because in the end, we can nourish our lives, we can really add nourishment to whatever our daily day is by adding in the things, doing things consistently, and taking small steps. It's really what we do every day that matters. So don't try and really change that one big indulgence or craving that you have, trying to find a healthier version of your chocolate cake or whatever your favorite could be. But make changes where it impacts you most, what you do every day. And why even make changes? Just add in the good and the new stuff. That's step number 2, is really start small. The third thing is very obvious, and we all do it all the time for everybody else except for ourselves, is schedule it in. And why I say schedule it in, and what I really mean by that is, we all have kids, or families, or social lives, or even work life, where we are putting things on the calendar. We are using Google Calendar, we are using our phone calendars or whatever, and we will have things scheduled in. Schedule yourself in. That hour for exercise, that 20 minutes for meditation, that 5 minutes for deep breathing, that 3 minutes for drinking a smoothie. Put it on your calendar. When you know exactly at what time you're supposed to do what, or when are you going to do it in, the probability of you doing it just increases. You are definitely going to do it that day. At least it will be on the calendar. There will be time scheduled for it. So schedule yourself in if you already don't do it. Doesn't have to be very complicated. You can even write your meal times on it and know exactly at what time you're going to eat. And that, I think, really helps people because things become a little bit more predictable. They put themselves on the calendar and they are just not an afterthought for in our everyday life. The fourth thing that I often insist with my clients, all my clients do it, is really maintaining a food diary. And I don't use a food diary as a punishment or a smacking tool, but rather as an understanding the blueprint tool. And what that means is, if you eat certain foods, how do you feel? Making that connection, joining that dot is very important. Certain foods will make you feel very vibrant, and certain foods will make you very tired and exhausted. Just knowing that is an amazing feeling. You're not always struggling. Rather than saying, hey, I eat nothing and this weight just keeps creeping on, it is a great idea to know exactly what you're eating and really just maintain a food diary and say, okay, when I eat this, this is how I feel. When I deep breathe for 5 days in a row, this is how I feel. And this is just creating that emotional connection between food. Are you eating for emotional reasons or really to satisfy your physical hunger? So if you can, you could use either a pen and paper or any of these apps or just your regular notes on your phone to continue making a food diary. Initially, it'll feel like a task that you don't enjoy, but I'll promise you, as you go along, it'll almost become like a journaling activity. It'll feel cathartic. It is very healing just knowing what you ate and how it made you feel, rather than having that ambiguity. I don't eat anything, yet I feel miserable. The fifth one is really the most important, and I want you to all listen to this one. It's plan ahead. When I say plan ahead, and I say this all the time, if you've done my clean eating programs or if you've worked with me at any level, you would know that I talk about planning ahead. Every Sunday, I like to make a grocery list. I like to know exactly what I'm going to eat, and I kind of try and stick to that during the week. What it does for me and what it does for all my clients and what it'll do for you is, when you know exactly what your breakfast, lunch, dinner, snacks, drinks are, when there is a plan for it, it is very easy to execute it. And it kind of ties in with everything else. It ties in with scheduling in. When you know what you're going to eat, you don't end up just spending endless time figuring out, making these multiple trips to the grocery store, or you just kind of become more efficient at cooking. You become more efficient at creating healthful meals simply. I know a lot of you feel the struggle around cooking healthy, and you kind of feel, there's a lot of shopping involved, it takes forever to cook. But I'll tell you, and I know many of you are joining me, I have a cooking workshop coming up called the Healing Spices and Soups. That is with Dr. Manisha Ghai. It's on the 24th of February, where we're going to be teaching how to eat simply, how to really bring in the foods that heal without being a slave to the cooktop. Nobody wants to spend endless time cooking, and that's me too. As much as I enjoy cooking, I don't want to be endlessly stuck to the stove. Find ways, find simple ways, find simple recipes. There's so many resources out there. Go to a cooking class. Find ways to add healthful meals to your diet, to your family's plate, really, without endlessly spending time. And I think being organized, knowing what you're going to cook during the week really is helpful. And just to give you an example, like if on a Monday you're going to eat something with quinoa, if you boil extra quinoa or you just saute it with some vegetables, it can be repurposed into a lunch or a snack for a Wednesday or a Thursday. That way you're not doing the same tasks over and over again. And really just find strategies that work for you. And I will just recap for those who joined me. I know a lot of you joined me a bit later than when I started. So I will recap once again the 5 steps to eating clean and making it sustainable in your really everyday life is: number 1, know your why. Why are you doing it? Number 2 is start small. Really, when you start small, you prevent the overwhelm. You just don't break down and go like, oh my goodness, this is too much and I can't do it. So just do one simple small practice. Introduce it every week, every day, whatever your pace of work is or whatever your pace of learning is. Number 3 is schedule it in. Schedule yourself in, your meals, your deep breathing, your just enjoying an Epsom salt bath, taking a walk outdoors, whatever, schedule it in. Make time for yourself. Number 4 is keep a food diary. A food diary helps you make a connection between how you feel when you eat something or you don't eat something, emotionally and physically, and it's really a great blueprint. Number 5 is plan ahead, and I just shared how can you plan ahead, and these are the simple tips, and I believe that if you at the end of this call or at the end of this live event take a piece of paper, your notes, and answer these 5 questions or create strategies around these 5 questions, I believe you can make eating well, eating clean really sustainable in your life. I hope you found this useful, and if you have any questions, I'm going to just jump into Facebook and see if I have any questions or I can answer something for you. Give me 1 second and refresh it. Okay, I don't see any questions there, and if any questions come up later, you can always email me or write them in the comments. And I will be posting this recording right here, so it'll be available for you to listen again and continue doing what you're doing, continuing showing up, learning new things so that eating clean is very easy. It doesn't feel complicated. Thank you for joining me, and I hope you found this useful, and I will see you guys again. Bye.